Hey everybody, how's it going today? I want to make a little video. I get questions all the time from people who are like me and are a small farmer, or they want to get into farming or what have you. And this time of year, there's not a lot going on per se compared to during the summer months or spring months and fall months when we're busy planting and busy harvesting and busy making hay and what have you. So I want to make a little video quick just to, I don't know, kind of discuss a few things or kind of brainstorm a little bit. I've got requests to do more live streams. Some people want me to do them on like a Sunday at 2:30 because there's a lot of people over in Europe that want to join in, and 2:30 in the afternoon would be a perfect time because we're already awake and it's before they go to bed, so it would fit in quite nicely, I think. But I just want to make a little video here to kind of brainstorm about a few things. The topic always is, how do you make money farming? How do you get by, whatever. Obviously, in most circumstances, if you're married, your spouse has to work off the farm. Somebody does, because health insurance alone is outrageously expensive. But number two, how do you make the farm so it's actually making money, or even supporting itself, or or one person's income? Most farming right now, it barely supports itself, let alone puts food on the table for anybody. So I just wanted to make a little video with some ideas or some input or whatever to kind of brainstorm. We can get comments from this, and it's something that we can discuss at a later date or in a live stream or whatever. So we already know right now is a tough time in farming to make it. What can we do to create more income? Well, with what I'm doing, I've got the cattle, I've got the way to do crops. They don't fully go hand in hand. If you're going to be a row crop farmer, it's hard to raise beef per se, to its full capacity anyways. If you're a person that has 100 acres of flat, perfectly tillable ground, it's probably a little bit harder to fit cattle in than if you're a guy like me and only 60% of your farm is tillable ground and the rest is rough country that isn't suitable for a tractor to be on, let alone put row crops on. What do? You try to fit cattle into your cropping, or vice versa. And if you're raising cattle and crops, how do you put up enough feed for your cattle and make it worthwhile to still have enough crops to sell? Well, with me, I'm doing the double cropping per se, where we're planting the winter rye after our fall harvest, and the winter rye we're harvesting in the spring is a forage crop for our cattle. And with winter rye, we can get it off early enough that we can still get our cash crops in time to get an early enough harvest that we can follow up again in the fall with a cover crop. And this year, I shouldn't say this year, I have grazed cover crops. You guys have all seen that I plant winter rye, some clover, some oats, some other crops. We graze the corn stalks. But this year I want to try and get into more grazing the corn stalks longer. And this year I'm going to save winter rye to combine again because of the, I don't know if you want to call it volatility of the prices of cover crops or whatever, but it's funny, one day you can go and buy a bag of winter rye for $10 a bag, and then the next day you go to get a bag and it's $14, $15 a bag. Well, when you start talking $10 an acre, that's a lot of money. A lot of people, that cuts out your profit margin for a lot of people because there's not a lot of profit per acre. So we are going to save a little bit to combine. Hopefully I'll get enough off a couple acres to seed all of my ground. And then I'd like to make some small square bales for straw to have in my calving pens. So I'll kind of kill two birds with one stone. So that's kind of what we're thinking. So I'm doing the whole double cropping thing. And some people might not call it double cropping, but by definition it is, because I'm growing a crop after a crop. So it is considered double cropping. One of the easiest ways to make money farming is save money. And by this I mean, don't spend everything to do one thing or whatever. If you can find a way to save $1, it's making $1. And with that being said, I've been to a couple conferences here lately, and the big topic is no-till versus tillage, stuff like that. And in all the trials they're finding around our area is the guys that do no-till say they're averaging 150 bushel an acre on corn, and the guys that are doing tillage are getting 175 to 200. Does that extra $25 to $50 a bushel per acre cover the cost of the added inputs, i.e. extra fuel and equipment, bigger equipment for doing the tillage, the iron that you're wearing out on tillage, the tillage equipment that you have to buy? And they're discovering that no, it doesn't offset the cost. People argue this all day long. That's their own opinion. But when you have research that's done and shows differently, you got to believe the research, not one person's opinion. That being said, this isn't going to be a tillage versus no-till argument. Everybody has their own opinion. My whole point is, if you can save $1, save $1, because it's the first dollar you're going to make. You know, it's just the way it is. And double cropping is just a way that you can not necessarily double your production, but you can kind of double your acreage per se. Granted, one cutting of winter rye in the spring isn't going to be the same as an acre of hay that you can cut 3 times a year, or 4 times a year, or 5 times a year, wherever you're at. But winter rye normally tons out pretty well, so it's, you know, it's like getting a decent cutting of hay off of a regular hay field. Granted, it's only one cutting, but if we can integrate our cattle into our cropping system where we can graze cover crops, i.e. check out Ted Kaler out in South Dakota, there all of a sudden you're requiring less feed that you got to put up. You're using what some call a waste from a cash crop, which is not really a waste, but it's a way to bring 2 forms of income off of one piece of property. So I'm just throwing that out there because one of these days we're going to have a live stream discussing some of this stuff, and it's something that we can discuss more in depth live stream, because it's a lot easier to interact than me just sit here and stare at a camera and try to talk what the thoughts are in my head. So with that being said, that's just one of the things. Right now is the time of year when we're all thinking, what can we do to make more money this year? What can we do to try and become more profitable? You know, things like that. So one of these days we'll have a live stream kind of discussing this more. And honestly, if anybody asks me on the street somewhere, I'm going to tell them, number one, get it no-till, because no-till saves a lot of money. And I have a few friends right now that are looking to get out of tillage and into doing no-till, and the old train of thought is no-till equipment is too expensive. But when you do the math on it, when your grain drill wears out and they're going to go buy a brand new grain drill for an extra couple $1,000s, they can switch to a no-till drill, and that soil finisher they spent $30,000 on would actually, they could take the money they were going to spend on a conventional drill and a soil finisher, they could combine them $2 and go out and buy 2 no-till drills. So, you know, and honestly, in searching for used equipment, you don't spend much more on a no-till drill or a no-till corn planter versus a conventional type planter or drill. So that shouldn't even be an argument in the discussion, because it's just, if you do the math on it, it pencils out that, you know, it's still cheaper to buy the no-till equipment than it is to go and buy all the tillage equipment and the bigger horse to pull it. But this isn't an argument on no-till versus tillage. This is just a way to save money via not spending the extra money on fuel, not spending the extra money on wearing out shovels and discs and coulters and everything else on tillage equipment, because you're going to wear those parts out on a drill or a planter anyways, so why spend the extra fuel and the extra time going over the same ground when you can do it once? So anyways, what's your guys' ideas on how to save money on the farm and to make it more profitable? Let me know in the comments. Jot down your ideas, and I'm going to shoot for maybe this Sunday or the following Sunday to do a live stream around 2:30 in the afternoon, so my friends over in Europe can be a part of it. So yeah, jot down your ideas. You can leave them in the comment section too, and then if nothing else, I can pull the comments up when we do the live stream, and then we can kind of discuss them or whatever, more, you know, face to face per se, video live instead of me talking to the camera and then people watching it later and replying. So anyways, let me know what y'all think, and we'll do this live stream one of these days. So brainstorm, everybody. Have a great day. We'll catch you later.